Now at 10, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Put the guns down, you know, and for families, for mothers that have kids, and y'all know your children are on the street, search your house.
Tuesday's shooting marked the 7th homicide this year in New Haven. Thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 10. I'm Jamel Johnson.
And I'm Bridget Bjorlo. Glad you're with us tonight. Calls to end gun violence in New Haven are growing. Fox
61's Kay Pattyfoot spoke with violence prevention coordinators on why this is happening and what can be done to stop it.
Violence prevention coordinators are still wrapping their heads around the shooting Tuesday afternoon. They say young people have to put the guns down and get involved with the many programs the city has to offer.
We're just saying, like, for the first quarter of this year, there were no gunshot wounds, no non-fatal shootings, and no homicides, and then this occurred. So it really, really broke, like, the silence, you know, of what's occurred in New Haven, you know, more especially for our youth.
On Tuesday afternoon, a 15-year-old boy was shot and killed in front of his home on Greenwood Street, New Haven, police say. Case manager Omar Ryan said this incident is shocking. He works with youth in the Hills neighborhood where the homicide happened.
They so deep into the streets now. You know, they so deep into the streets, and some of them got a taste of money. You know, selling drugs, so they got a taste of money. So you're not gonna just tell them to leave the area. You know, so. That's how they eat. Some of them have to be out there. You know, some of them feeding their families with the money they're making out there.
This homicide is raising concerns for neighbors who say more programs are needed for the disconnected youth. But Leonard Jihad said there are many.
The Youth and Recreation Department in New Haven, Police Activity League, programs like mine and other nonprofits, there is a lot to do that's in New Haven, that's organized.
Jihad works with youth every day at the Violence Intervention Prevention Program, or CTVIP. Jihad and his team work with young people in the city and offer paid internships. Right now, they are working with Swords to Plowshares,
where they take guns that are handed in or turned in through the police buybacks, the gun buybacks. And so they take the guns and they turn them into garden tools. And so we partnered, and they funded a program that's been going on for the last 2 weeks.
Students involved say it's things like this that help the community.
Like, right here is a safe place for everyone. So, like, basically, if you're here, it's showing that you, like, you know, care about the community and care about what's going on in the world.
Something both men couldn't stress enough is that parents have to start going through their children's social media and their phones. They say it's time for parents to start getting involved more. In New Haven, Kay Pattyfoot, Fox 61.
Thanks, Kay. An investigation is underway after a carjacking happened in Hartford this afternoon. It happened on Capitol Avenue. The person whose car was stolen was injured and taken to the hospital. We are working to learn more about this incident, and we'll update you when more information is available.
All she talked about was graduating. She had plans after graduating high school. She wanted to become an ultrasound tech. She wanted to do the work like her mom does.
April 15th marked 2 years since high school student Denisha Azul was found dead inside a home in New London.
A mother and son are charged in connection to her death. Ahead of their next court date, Azul's family held a ceremony to honor her name. Fox 61's Valerie Moravi spoke to the family.
It's been 2 years since the parents of Denisha Azul held her daughter for the last time. They tell me there hasn't been a day where her spirit hasn't been felt. They say they won't stop seeking justice until justice prevails.
I hope that they know that Denisha was very loved. Denisha had a life ahead of her. It was cut way too short.
Friends and family of Denisha Azul gathered at St. Mary's Cemetery Tuesday afternoon, among hugs, love, and memories. On April 15 of 2023, Azul was found unresponsive inside of a home near Jefferson Avenue and Buchanan Road. She was taken to a local hospital where she was later pronounced dead. She was 17 years old, just a month before her 18th birthday. Her mom says Denisha had many dreams.
All she talked about was graduating. She had plans after graduating high school. She wanted to become an ultrasound tech. She wanted to do the work like her mom does. She wanted to attend her prom. She wanted to graduate. Denisha gave her all to anyone that she dealt with, and sometimes above and beyond.
She says her daughter's energy was felt among the people who came together to honor her name.
And how great God is for allowing us to feel and see her light continue to shine.
5 months after Denisha's death, police arrested Erica Cherry and her son Nishan. Police say Nishan took Denisha to his house after a party. They said he and his mom got into an argument with Azul before she died. The Cherrys were found with no life-threatening stab wounds, but an arrest warrant reports Denisha died of a blunt force trauma and compression of the neck. The Cherrys face several charges, including accessory to commit manslaughter. Azul's mom says she disagrees with the judge's decision to potentially sentence both suspects to only 5 years in jail.
That was my whole world, and that was taken away from me. To know that these people serve only 6 years in jail is really, really sickening. That's a smack to my face daily. I'm just hoping that the justice system prevails on my daughter's behalf. Denisha Maylin Azul, may she rest in peace.
Now, both suspects are scheduled to be back in court this year, beginning with Erica Cherry, whose court date appearance will be on April 30th. In New London, Valerie Moravi, Fox 61.
Now, fallout over the state's decision to not sign a letter from the federal government, which would have required the Connecticut State Department of Education to end diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, otherwise known as DEI. But the move now leaves hundreds of millions of dollars in federal funding in limbo and has attracted criticism from state Republicans. Fox 61's Stephen Reels spoke to people on both sides of the aisle to get their reaction to the news.
When Connecticut Governor Ned Lamont and Education Commissioner Charlene Russell Tucker sent this letter out on Wednesday, they said that not only would they continue to fight to protect people from discrimination, but they also wanted to build a school system in Connecticut that not only would value every single student, but support them as well. On one hand, you have people who say they support the decision and that the state already followed all the requirements they needed to in order to secure federal funding. Meanwhile, you have some state Republicans who argue you can't just pick and choose what laws you do or don't want to follow.
The federal government actually can't do that.
President of Connecticut's largest teachers union, Kate Diaz, told Fox 61 Wednesday the federal government stepped over the line when it tried to link the funding to the state's education department to federal policy decisions.
Everything that is going on in our public schools is the will of our public schools, it's the will of our communities, and it's the right thing to do for our students and community members.
How much funding is wrapped up in all of this right now?
Well, for just education funding alone, it's about $320 million.
I think it's a mistake by the state.
Chairman of the Connecticut Republican Party, Ben Proto, is the voice on the other end of the political spectrum.
When you start to pick and choose the laws you're going to abide by, that's when you begin to see anarchy.
Proto told Fox 61 in an interview, the DEI policies that exist now have created a situation where young millennial or Gen Z men do not go into the workforce, and it's become difficult for people to want to excel in their fields since they won't get recognized because they don't fall into the right group.
That student needs to understand as they go through life, not everybody they deal with are all going to look like them, act like them, sound like them, be like them. You have to learn, and we learn at an early age, how to associate with people who are different than us.
There's no word yet on a federal response to Connecticut's decision, but Diaz did tell me she is pretty confident that in the event the government does try to withhold funding from Connecticut, you'll have state leaders like Attorney General William Tong who will have Governor Lamont's back and potentially file a lawsuit to resecure that funding. In Hartford, Stephen Reels, Fox 61.
All right, Stephen, thank you very much. The legal team for Kimberly Sullivan, the woman who is accused of holding her stepson captive for more than 2 decades, responded today to the stepson's first public statement. The man who goes by S touched on many topics in his statement from yesterday, including what he's gone through, how he's doing now, and how he's looking ahead to the future. This morning, Fox 61 received a statement from Sullivan's lawyer reacting to that. It reads in part, quote, "The accuser's public narrative put forth by his handlers lacks both specifics and credibility. It appears here's time to sway public opinion, and its only purpose can be to poison the well of a future jury panel rather than seek justice through the proper legal channels. A part of the stepson's multi-paragraph statement says, quote, "Much has already been said that tells part of the story of the abuse I endured. Someday, perhaps my whole story will be told. I ask everyone involved in my story to fully cooperate with the authorities who are helping me seek justice for these crimes," end quote.
Now, for the latest information on all these stories, just scan the QR code on your screen right now and download the free Fox 61 News app.